Hi, and welcome to the Balancing Act Local Edition. I'm Otto Williams. We're bringing you community stories and introducing you to businesses and influencers who are making a difference. So let's see who's making news right here in your neighborhood.
On today's episode of The Balancing Act, helping women to better obtain leadership positions, recognizing and treating developmental disabilities in today's youth, quality, affordable communities for seniors, expert tips on will preparation and estate planning, plus lots more. Today on The Balancing Act.
Up first, a story not to be missed.
Are you at a crossroad and ready to embark on a path of personal leadership development? Dr. Yasmin Davidds Leadership Institute features programming that brings together women of diverse backgrounds for a meaningful exploration of their life experiences.
I am an entrepreneur, organizational psychologist, best-selling author, philanthropist, transformational leader. What I'm most proud of is that I am a Latina survivor. And that is one who has survived tragedy in her life and has taken that tragedy and turned it into leadership strength. And then I created a curriculum around it and then created a leadership institute that empowers and develops women by using their life story and transforming it into strength. And I do this for women all over the world. Many of us know that the workplace system is broken. And how do we know that? Well, we take a look at representation in the C-suite level. There's only 4% women of color that represent the C-level positions. Yet 25% of the workforce is women of color. Therefore, there should be 25% representation of women of color in C-suite levels. And 50% of the workforce is women, yet there's only 25% representation at C-level suites. If the system was unbroken, there would be leadership representation parallel to those that they represent. However, 76% of leadership positions at C-level are men, but only 50% are part of the workforce. Obviously, something is not working. I created this program because when I first started doing consulting and organizational development, focusing on women, I was asked to go into organizations and help develop women, especially Latina women. And when I got there and started speaking to the women, there wasn't a safe space for them to really express how they felt, what they were going through, their challenges. There wasn't psychological safety in their environment. So I decided to create that safe space and have the organizations send women to my institute. The type of women that can benefit from this program are multicultural women, including white women who are manager level or also individual contributors who are ready to transform their lives and take their leadership to the next level, who have probably tried other programs and they continue to somehow get in their own way and they don't understand why. Usually it's internal barriers that hold these women back, and we are ready to help them go to the next level.
Dr. Davidds helps women crystallize what matters most by encouraging them with skills and values that fundamentally transforms who they are as leaders.
We are a result of our childhood experiences as adults. Therefore, we made decisions when we were young that now establish patterns in our life that sometimes get in our way. We help women identify those and be able to move beyond them so that they become the best version of themselves, become better humans, therefore better leaders. The curriculum of the program includes a 360 leadership assessment, a Harvard curriculum, a gender-specific lens, as well as a multicultural lens. It's actually the only program in the country that's gender and cultural specific. And it also includes learning teams, peer support, mentorship. It's a 5-month intensive program that really transformed the lives of women that participate in it because they build community with one another and they share multicultural women experiences that they never shared before. The percentage of women who have graduated from our programs, who have developed to the next level in their organization or have better relationships, I would say is 99.9%. I always leave room for that 0.01%, but every woman that we have spoken to that has been through the program has been transformed not only in their workplace, but have become better mothers, better mentors, better managers, because they learn how to lead themselves first. And learning how to lead yourself first is the first step to becoming a better leader in all areas of your life.
This program is dedicated to uniting diverse women to understand their lived experiences that shape their leadership narrative. As their alumni become better humans, they become better leaders, creating a living pipeline of business and community leaders who act as influential and global change agents.
The most important thing I learned was how to be a better human, a better leader, and also to refine my emotional intelligence skills with my team. And I think that that made an enormous difference in opening communications and also providing trust, sustainability, and adoption of initiatives, and we all collectively now work as a team. I joined the Multicultural Executive Leadership Program because I was at a crossroads in my career. Dr. Davidds introduces Harvard curriculum, which is fantastic, which helps the growth development, but there's also a camaraderie within the program with women. There's also the empowering and uplifting and inspiring each other. All of that put together, I was able to skyrocket my professional career from sitting in a cubicle to presenting to the president and senior vice presidents projects and programs of innovation, and it completely changed my life. I was so inspired and so empowered by the mission and vision of this program that Dr. Davidds does. I continue not only to invest in myself, but mostly because of the program, it's about being of service to others and helping other women achieve their dreams too. I promise you it will change your life. I'm living proof of that.
My experience being part of Dr. Yasmin's Leadership Institute has been truly empowering and supportive. From start to finish, everyone was welcoming, supportive, collaborative, and the experience gave me a sense of pride in being a woman and being a woman in corporate America, and knowing that there are other women just like me who are striving to excel is empowering. I was selected into the Multicultural Women's Executive Leadership Program as a complete surprise to me when I got a call from my director saying that she nominated me for this amazing opportunity. This program not only teaches you how to be a better leader, it teaches you how to be a better person, how to see people and hear them, and to help them overcome obstacles that they didn't know existed, as it did for me. It showed me my blind spots, and it gave me the tools to overcome them so that I could be a triumphant leader who creates other triumphant leaders.
As a young student, Dr. Davidds wouldn't have been able to attend college without the help from organizations like the USC Latino Alumni Association. Now, as an accomplished professional and USC graduate, Dr. Davidds not only serves on the board of the USC LAA, but also personally contributes and helps fundraise to ensure that other Latino students have access to attend USC via scholarships. Dr. Yasmin Davidds is also the founder of the Multicultural Women Executive Leadership Foundation.
We created a foundation that we have sponsors and partners, including the USC Marshall School of Business, who partners with us and sponsors us and contributes to our scholarship fund. And we're able to help women who cannot afford to pay out of pocket to participate in the leadership program. My next book is named Graciously Assertive: How Being a Better Human Makes You a Better Leader. It has to do with helping to solve one of the greatest problems and obstacles that women at work, or just women in general, deal with, and that's how to be able to self-advocate and be assertive without being aggressive. It gives you tools on how to be graciously assertive, how to think in a way that allows other people to have their space, and how to honor yourself and honor other individuals and make them feel heard, which helps being able to create better teams, become a better parent, become a better husband or wife, become a better human being in general, and overall become a better leader. The plans that we have for the future of the Dr. Yasmin Davidds Leadership Institute is to really make it the leading women leadership institute in the world, to ensure that women own their stories, their life stories, that they're not ashamed of them, and that they utilize them as strength so that they become better leaders, truly understanding that it is their life story that makes them the unique individuals that they are and the beautiful, beautiful human beings that they are.
To learn more about Dr. Yasmin Davidds Leadership Institute, visit the website at dryasmininstitute.com. Or to see this segment again, visit thebalancingact.com.
Coming up next, tips you don't want to miss.
Over 20% of the population is affected by a developmental disability in some form or another. Every individual deserves an accurate diagnosis to ensure that appropriate treatments are considered and implemented.
Most of the assessments that I do for parents is so that kids can get the proper services that they need in order for them to get support at school and with various agencies. Most notably, we have the Regional Center. And regional centers are agencies throughout all of California that allows parents to have access to services such as behavioral therapy and also respite services. And in order for them to get those kind of services, they need to have a proper diagnosis. And this is what we provide. Not everybody is trusted by the regional centers to do their assessments, and we have leveled up and we've become that go-to agency.
Treatments and accommodations require a diagnosis given by a qualified provider.
The whole process of diagnosing starts off with an interview, trying to find out all the different facts, all the different concerns that a parent might have. They might be delayed with speech. They might be delayed with social, not making good eye contact. Their motor, putting on buttons, zippers. All these different things are little red flags that parents should be aware of. It's really good to find out whether or not there is something that's behind it. And if there is something behind it, such as a developmental disorder, then it's best to get that addressed as soon as possible.
Several different types of therapies are available, depending on the disorder.
Some of the more common interventions include play therapy for little kids, talk therapy, and there's also behavioral therapy when you're trying to modify a certain behavior so that it'll be more appropriate for the settings. Sometimes when the emotions are just out of control and a child can't control their anger or their sadness, you would need prescription services to help take the edge off of it so that the interventions can be a lot more successful. Not all disorders require medication services. A lot of the behaviors that are problematic in the homes or in the school can be addressed through behavioral means. And that could be addressed through ABA therapy, which is one of the most common interventions that we do have.
There are some common misconceptions surrounding the diagnosis of developmental disorders.
Parents would come in thinking that we're going to fix our child right now. And you don't fix a child, you try to adjust behaviors. And a lot of times parents have an idea, well, my child has this diagnosis. Most of the time they would say, my child has autism because they've got all these tantrum behaviors, or they have poor eye contact. But when we're diagnosing, we have to be as precise as possible. So what we do is we explain there's certain thresholds for these diagnoses. It can't be just one or two symptoms. So we look at all those different symptoms and then we see, is it really appropriate for this diagnosis to be put on this child? Someone who misdiagnoses just because they're going through a checklist, they're doing a disservice to the child. And if you're being diagnosed incorrectly, you get the wrong treatment, and it's just going to be a waste of a lot of time and a lot of emotions. So get them treated for the right thing. And that's what we strive to do over here at AB Psych Consulting. We value expertise, transparency, and also collaboration.
A specialist is imperative to helping you navigate through the tough decisions in order to achieve results that you and your family need most.
Parents really hold the key to the kids' success in the future. And I would really encourage parents who have any kind of questions about whether or not their child needs interventions, get your kid tested as soon as possible. All the questions that could be weighing in your mind can be answered with the right specialist.
For more information about AB Psych Consulting, visit their website at abpsychconsulting.com. And of course, visit our website at thebalancingact.com.
Up next, another story not to be missed.
Expect more from retirement. For many seniors, a life plan community offers just the right balance of maintenance-free living, social interaction, and peace of mind.
The vision for Morningside began in 1986 when a group of local doctors and businessmen saw a need for a retirement community to really address the expanding growth of the senior population here in Fullerton. Morningside's mission is to provide a secure, active, and elegant lifestyle for those seniors who want to retain their independence and have freedom of choice. We offer life-enhancing services, resort-like amenities and programs that will address the needs of a diverse individual, but really we provide more fun, more convenience, and more peace of mind.
Morningside of Fullerton combines the comforts of home with the convenience of life-enhancing services, while also putting a plan in place for your future healthcare needs.
A life plan community is definitely not your typical retirement community. You're really combining aspects of various types of communities in the same campus. So everybody's getting a beautiful new home, comes in various sizes and shapes and neighborhoods, a package of services that's pretty robust and just hardwired right into the neighborhood, and then access to long-term care if you ever need it, whether that's memory care, assisted living, or skilled nursing. And frankly, knowing that that care is there if you ever need it, and knowing that you're not going to have to come out of pocket, or your kids aren't going to have to come out of pocket to pay for that, offers a lot of peace of mind. People move into life plan communities at different ages. Technically, it's a community for people age 60 and older, and we do get people moving in their 60s and people moving in their 80s. Most people on average are moving in their 70s. You know, I joke that in your 60s, a lot of people still feel very immortal, but sometime in our 70s, we look around and people that used to be our age seem to be getting a little bit older, and we can look around the corner and say, you know, I probably want to be in a place where I'm prepared for some of these changes that are coming, and these communities provide for that. If you think of the senior housing industry, we talk about retirement communities, but there's really quite a spectrum. You have independent living or active adult communities for residents that don't really need a lot of services, even though there might be some nice to have services included. And then you have more care-based communities, assisted living, memory care, skilled nursing. What a life plan community really does is it wraps all of the best of each of those things onto one campus. You're getting great activities and food and fun things associated with an active adult community, and then the care is there if you ever need it. Rather than having to move each time your care needs change or those of your companion, you really get to take advantage of that all in one place and truly age in one location. Now, even among continuing care or life plan communities, there's different styles and things that you're going to want to pay attention to as you're looking. Type A, Type B, Type C. Without worrying about the technical, footnotes of all of these things, you really want to just get your head around this. Who's going to be paying for the care when I need it down the road? Type A communities are best in class, where all of the care is there and the community is going to provide for the cost, so you don't need to worry. Type B and Type C communities, you'll end up paying for a lot of the care, but at least they're there on site. So I'd say if you're looking at life plan communities, you're on the right path.
Morningside is for planners who think about what the future can hold, and they want to have a say in that plan when it comes to their long-term care.
Considering your retirement living options early on can save you time, frustration, and money.
People will come and they'll see Morningside. A lot of times they have friends who live here. They'll say, wow, this is fantastic, but can I afford it? I'll just be straightforward. They're not the cheapest options out there. A lot of services and amenities are included, and so sometimes people look at the numbers and go, wow, can I afford that? The answer is, for most people, well, if you own your house here, you've paid off your mortgage, you have Social Security or some type of pension, then it probably works. But part of that dynamic is people have to stop and say, wow, when I move to a community like Morningside, what am I saving? I stop and I say, no more property taxes. No more homeowners insurance, my gas bill, water bill, trash bill. Things start to add up. I'm spending less on groceries. I'm spending less going out to eat. And really the big compelling savings is somewhere outside of there for most of us is a very large long-term care bill. And families who choose to move to a community like Morningside don't have to worry about that anymore. That part of their estate is soundly protected. Some people look at this and say, okay, that's great. I like it. It's affordable. I can do this. But my plan is actually just going to be stay in my house. And obviously, that's probably everybody's fantasy. But educated people sit back and they recognize, while we might want to do that, most Americans will not be able to stay in their home for the rest of their lives. And so it becomes a decision about timing and making sure that you're making a move while you're healthy, independent, and active. I remember when I first started in this business, I had my own preconceived notions about what a retirement community was. And within a few months, some of our residents challenged me and one of my young colleagues to a tennis game and beat us soundly. And that's really what you're looking for. You want to move to a community while you're active, well, healthy, when you can enjoy a lot of the services and still drive a lot of this yourself. If you wait until you need care, the circumstances associated with that move will be harder and somebody else will be making most of the decisions. Great life plan communities are available for people who are willing and courageous enough to make that move while they're young, healthy, and active. If you wait until you need care, a community like Morningside wouldn't be an option. One of the things that we need to consider as we age is getting access to the care that we're all eventually going to need. And I think as people start to do their homework, they realize that can actually be an issue, getting access to really great care. And that's not just true here, but really throughout the state. One of the great things about a life plan community is you'll notice as soon as you take a tour, wow, the care centers associated with a great life plan community like Morningside are fundamentally different than what you see out in the industry. That care center was built for the residents of this community. and the quality and the nice trim and everything that you see here in Morningside, boy, it feels like you walked right through the same community into the care center. It's fundamentally different. And now I could tell you that it's great, or our health center team is great, and they are, don't get me wrong, but you don't have to take our word for it. The state of California is going to rank every care center every year. And each year, each of the communities that our team touches in California, 5-star, best in class. The promise of a life-plan community like Morningside is not just that you're going to get access to care when you need it, but you're getting access to the best care. When people outside the community are looking for good options, you have one locked down and guaranteed.
Morningside offers more than 24 unique floor plans, just a short walk from robust recreational activities and fun social events.
At Morningside, we have 2 options of homes for you to choose from. We have 2 and 3 bedroom villas, which are single-story homes, which typically come 2 attached and include garages. They have beautiful patios, vaulted ceilings in the living room, and fully equipped kitchens. The second option are our apartment homes, which are really at the heart of the community. And they range in size from studios up to 3-bedroom, 2 baths, and they include full kitchens, or either a patio or balcony. We have over 24 unique floor plans to choose from, depending on the neighborhood you want to live in, the view you'd like, and even your price point.
More than just a place to live, it's a place to thrive.
What happens next? Come and see for yourself.
And I'm going to give you the same advice residents often tell me they wish they had received, which is, don't wait, come now.
To learn more, visit the website at morningsideoffullerton.com. Or to see this segment again, go to thebalancingact.com.
When legal aid is required, what you need most is someone you can trust, as we find out in this next story.
It's a common perception that estate plans or wills are exclusively for the wealthy. If you own any assets at all, or have loved ones who depend on you, you need an estate plan.
It is always necessary to have a knowledgeable and experienced attorney draft a last will and testament or a living trust, because you want to make sure that the language is clear and in proper format. I witness a trust being provided to me after the person dies. It's vague, it's ambiguous, it doesn't have all the requirements. It's not a valid will or it's not a valid trust. And that's going to require that individual to file a petition with the court, and it's going to require court supervision. If they had an attorney look it over in the first place to make sure that it was proper, then they could prevent all this from happening in the future. One of the reasons why I developed a little bit more passion in this specific area of law is because I found that a lot of family members, instead of coming into some type of communion or gathering to celebrate the passing of a loved one, instead they were so focused on controlling the assets of that person's estate, and they were fighting tooth and nail over that deceased individual's real property or their several bank accounts which holds a lot of different funds. It was impossible to have the families come together, but I thought that I had to make sure that the trustor's wishes pursuant to their trust or pursuant to their will were kind of upheld.
Will preparation and estate planning should always be handled by a legal professional.
I always meet with the clients one-on-one to make sure that they want to do an estate plan. I want to make sure that they have the capability to do an estate plan, that they have the capacity to understand the consequences of their actions. I got to make sure that there's no dementia. And sometimes this requires a doctor's declaration as well. And once I meet with them, I have them fill out a questionnaire to indicate how they wanted their estate to be distributed, whether they wanted to be distributed equally amongst their children or some other loved ones such as friends, or if they want to make some donations to charities. And that's all discussed in the initial consultation in this questionnaire. A living trust is a lot more important than a last will and testament in many ways, and one of the main reasons is because you cannot put real property in the name of a last will and testament. So if I'm an escrow officer or a real estate agent and I look up a property profile and I see that the deed to a real property is under the name of an individual, then I'm going to tell that person or their loved ones, if that person passes away, they need to file a petition for probate because the court has to provide some type of court order to sell the property. But If the property is in the name of a living trust, the escrow officer will ask for the copy of the trust to show that there is a successor trustee after the passing of that person who could administer the trust. And if it's clear in the right language, that person can manage the real property without court intervention after that person passes away.
Having an experienced litigator on your side will help minimize potential conflicts when you are no longer able to act as a moderating force.
Typically, if someone dies without a will or trust, their loved ones, whether there's their children or their spouse, has to file a petition for probate with the Superior Court. And if there is a will or a trust, then it's going to depend on whether there is a will or trust to be administered with the court. Typically, if there is a living trust, it does not require court intervention. But if there is a last will and testament, the person can file a petition for letters testamentary, where they're going to be petitioning for the court to administer the terms of the will, which means that the court is going to make sure that the personal representatives administers the estate pursuant to the terms of that person's will.
Give yourself and your family peace of mind, knowing you have planned for life's inevitabilities.
I want to express the importance of meeting with an attorney to have your estate plan. You never know what's going to happen to you, regardless of your age, regardless of your demographics. Anything can happen anywhere. I've had friends pass away in their 30s. If you don't have your estate plan, you're not going to be protecting your estate.
For more information about the law offices of Christopher P. Brandlin, visit their website at brandlinlaw.com. And of course, visit our website at thebalancingact.com.
Thanks so much for joining us on this local edition of the Balancing Act. We'll see you next time.